Here's what Mr. Wonderful says. I'm in.
You know, I always say I can tell instantly if it's a hero or a zero.
Okay, Lori. So which one is the podcast?
It's a superhero.
That's the right answer.
I really like it.
Welcome to Shark Tank Podcast, where each week one of the best entrepreneurs from ABC's network smash hit Shark Tank teach you how to swim with the sharks without being eaten alive. And now, your host, Mr. TJ Hale.
And for that reason, I am in, baby. Welcome, everyone, to the Shark Tank Podcast. This is an incredible episode I've got lined up for you today. For those of you who listen regularly, you know what's coming. For those of you who are new, and you have no idea how you got here, but you're excited about what's coming up, go to sharktankpodcast.net or go to iTunes or Stitcher, depending on what kind of device you use, and type in Shark Tank Podcast. When you find it, hit subscribe, and that way you will never miss a future episode. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. Now, Erin and Jenny are two lovely Georgia peaches who went into the Shark Tank looking for a deal and a little love from some of the sharks. They came out after a crazy cat fight and a little bit of guys versus gals with a deal with not only Lori Grenier, but also Barbara Corcoran. The Sharkettes joined forces. They're on the team, and they're here today on the podcast. Now, for those of you who are new, this is not a regular media outlet. This is my fan podcast, and because of that, you're going to hear an interview today that you're not going to hear anywhere else on the internet. That I can promise you, and you're going to love it. Now, because the theme is the Sharkettes, the most lovely and dangerous ladies of the Shark Tank, we're doing a little bit of girl power, and it's running into a promotion. So if you want to get yourself a pair of Hold Your Haunches, if you've got haunches that need holding, if you're suffering from the two-butt effect, which I see no evidence of, by the way, on Erin and Jenny, but that's just a personal opinion. If you go to holdyourhaunches.com and you buy something nice for yourself, they're going to give you free shipping. Type in girl power when you check out, and that's going to get you absolutely $0 charged to your shipping, if you only for a limited time, probably about a week or so. But I would definitely encourage you to do that. Support these gals on their journey. And you want to send me a picture? Shoot, I'll throw it up on the website. I'll tweet it out. I will show everyone the magic that holding your haunches can do for you. Now, the 2-hour Shark Tank premiere has been announced, September 26th. Make sure you set your DVRs or your TiVos. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. We'll talk about it a little bit here today, and I'm just excited to get things going again for Season 6. Now, before we start, I want to thank our sponsor today because, as you may or may not know, the What I Wish I'd Known Before Shark Tank book is being released very soon. For anyone trying to get on Shark Tank, it's the #1 resource guide that you can buy. And I needed a good way to make sure that anyone looking for it could find it and easily buy it. So if you're a business that's online, if you're looking for new customers, if you're looking for a way to drive conversions on your site, you have to go to sharktankpodcast.net/lead pages and check out what the guys are doing over there. It's a phenomenal product. They give it to you free for 30 days. It's a money-back guarantee if you're not happy. And if you decide to do it, you will not be sorry, and you're also going to be supporting the Shark Tank podcast. I use it. I trust it. I love it. So there's really no way I'm going to be able to do this session justice. You're just going to have to listen to it. Trust me, you're going to want to hold your haunches. And speaking of, that's actually the address where you can find the show notes for today's episode. Go to sharktankpodcast.net/hold your haunches. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Erin and Jenny. You've been warned.
I rarely do this, but I'm going to ask Damon for some advice.
Yes, you should bathe more often because I sit next to you.
You thought you were coming here just to avoid the two-butt effect with the ladies from Hold Your Haunches. But we have one of my two all-time favorite female sharks on the show, the queen of QVC, Lori Grenier. Lori, welcome. It's an honor.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here with you all tonight.
And Erin and Jenny, say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Now, it's a little unorthodox doing it this way, but I have to say, it's great to have you. I've had some of your most fantastic and successful entrepreneurs on the show, and they always say amazingly generous things about you and the things that you bring to their businesses. So what I want to do is actually start off with season 6, because I know you just got out of filming. You guys just did the first half of the show. Tell me about it. What are we is season 6 going to be the greatest season ever?
You know, I actually really think so. I think that season 6 is going to be the best season ever. I think that the quality and the entrepreneurs that are coming in, what went on, I don't want to give too many secrets away, but I think that it's really, truly going to be the best year ever.
Now, Laura, you may have told people this on other shows, but I really don't know how you came to be on the show. I know why you're there now, and I know what your strengths are, and we're all glad to have you, but how did that process start? How did they approach you and say, you know what, Lori, you're perfect for our show. Come join us.
Well, I actually was going to be in the pilot in season 1, and I had met with Mark Burnett and his group, and they had chosen me to be on the show. And then really very odd timing. My mother passed away right at the exact same time as the pilot, and I had to go home. And so we kept in touch, and they brought me back as a guest shark in season 3, and I became permanent in season 4.
And aren't we thankful?
Yes, and we're all thankful. Thank you, guys. But that's the story. That's the true story of it.
Wow. Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your mother, but I'm glad that it all worked out and that now you're part of the team. And,
Thank you.
I know that Barbara is going to be joining us at some point. So I want to talk about this particular episode with Hold Your Haunches, because I felt like I watched it and my head spun a little bit, and I thought, I'm looking back to do my notes, and there wasn't much to write down. There were a lot of jokes. There was a lot of girl power, a lot of men versus women. But at the end, we've got this great company that's slaughtering it, and you and Barbara have joined forces to help them really make something spectacular out of their business. So after watching it, I want to ask you, when they get together, do they say, hey, look, this episode, we're going to kind of have you, we're going to have you take this direction, or does that all happen spontaneously?
Honestly, the show, there's nothing that is really planned. I mean, we don't know who's coming into the tank. We don't know what the entrepreneurs are going to be pitching or who they are. So it's very organic and in the moment. When we see them, we determine what we think and what we feel we want to do. And they affected Barb and I both in a way that we felt we wanted to get behind them and to be a part. And so I hope that answers the question, but, it really has a lot to do with being in the moment and in doing what you feel is right and fitting to the entrepreneur.
Now, as I look back over the list of people that I featured, I have to say, and maybe it's good Barbara's not here yet because she might have something to say about this, but I looked at the season 5 finale, I looked at my greatest hits, and a lot of them have your stamp on them. I don't know if there are bragging rights in the tank. I'm sure there are because you and Barbara laid it on pretty thick in this episode. But what is it about you that you keep picking some of the biggest winners in the tank? Scrub Daddy's one, Corduroy's is another. I have a list here of 10 more. What's going on there?
I think that is, look, I have a retail background. I've been creating products and selling products for 17 years. And I have created over 450 products and, I have a very high success rate. So this is really my wheelhouse. It's what I've done over the years. It's what I have a strong gut feeling for what's going to work. And I think when the people come into the tank, I know what our heroes, as I say, are zeros. So I'm flattered that you think that I have a strong track record. I knock wood that I do, but I think that I have a natural knack for knowing what will work in the marketplace.
Looking back over your tenure in Shark Tank, are there some products or one in particular maybe that you thought was going to be a dud that really surprised you? Something that maybe got away? I know you don't like to live with regrets, but...
No, I was going to say no, I really don't. I'm a very honest, upfront person, and I don't look back. If there's something that I really want to go for it, I don't have any regrets with anything. I can't tell you that there's one that I think got away because I just don't feel that way about anything.
Now, conceptually with Shark Tank, I'm not a huge fan of most reality TV. I feel like it's overly scripted, that it brings out the worst. They try to egg people on to bring out the worst parts of their character to make ratings. Shark Tank's kind of flipped that whole thing on its head. I mean, we have people engaging in what Mark Cuban calls the ultimate sport. That's business. And they're striving to be better every single day. And the marketplace rates them. When you see an entrepreneur, whatever stage they are, how do you know if they're going to be a hero or a zero? What can an entrepreneur do to impress you the first time they meet you with their product or idea?
Well, for me, I look at three things. One, I look at what is their product or business model. Is it something that I think the consumer and the public are going to need and want? And then I look at the entrepreneur and I think, is that somebody who I am going to want to work with and enjoy working with and can drive a business? And then the third thing is really looking at the overall package of it, what the deal they're presenting on the show. And is that something that I think is also going to work for me? So I look at all three things and I put the three together and I make my determination very quickly because, we're very in the moment. I think that Shark Tank is so appealing today because we are the American dream. We are doing things. It's a reality show that is real, which I think that's what you were alluding to, that some reality shows aren't real. We are very real, and I think we're all honest to ourselves, and we're who we are. And people being able to feel empowered, look at entrepreneurialism as something that's achievable, something that they can do, something that is a way in which they can empower themselves and take control of their own destiny. I think that's very appealing to people, and I think that's why the show is so appealing amongst all sexes, all ages, and everyone.
Yeah, you nailed it. I stumbled through my explanation a bit, but I think people relate so much with it. If they're entrepreneurs or if they have a desire to do something with their life in the business realm and they just don't know how to go about it, I learned so much from the show. It's helped me so much. So to have the opportunity to have you on, I want you to talk about the reality of your life. I mean, people look at the show and like American Idol or another reality, they almost feel like there's a shortcut. If I can get in front of Lori, my life will change overnight. That might be true, but in some instances, I think they start taking their eye off the ball and the skills they need and the experiences they need to go through. Can you talk about times in your life when maybe you felt like you were a failure as an entrepreneur and how you got over it?
In my book, I write a lot about my experiences in the beginning and the early days when I was a fledgling entrepreneur and had a product idea and how did I get it out there to the market. And as I went back through the book, because, that was a process for me in writing the book, I had to share all the details. I truly wanted to help pay it forward and to have people learn from my experiences and from the book. The book's called Invent It, Sell It, Bank It. And it came out just this last spring. And it's very gratifying to me because people say they really are learning from it because it really wasn't a book to make money. It was truly a labor of love to give back and to help entrepreneurs. When I think about what were the experiences, there are so many experiences that I had. I had zero experience in running a business or creating a product or finding manufacturers or doing market research or working with buyers. I mean, I had to learn all of that from scratch, and I had no mentor. So I'm just trying to think of even to give you examples. There are several things. Each different phase that you go through as an entrepreneur teaches you different things. In the beginning, I had to learn everything. So I had packaging mistakes. I had production mistakes. All the things that entrepreneurs, when they start out, learn about. If they have a product that they're trying to create, I had a product that was injection molded, and injection molds shrink, and they mold things at different sizes, and you have to tweak it. And I had packaging that had a black background, and that ran, and it bled all over the photography that was supposed to be on the package. So there's so many things that you learn as you go along the way, but it makes you stronger and smarter. And if you're a good entrepreneur, you learn from those experiences, and you never forget the mistakes. As Jenny, wouldn't you say that the both of you learn from certain things that you've gone through that make you stronger and smarter and better? And truly, I see those things as good happenings because they make you aware so that you'll never do them again.
So we definitely learned the hard way.
Yeah, right. Like Erin and Jenny both you learn the hard way. But then once you've learned it, you don't repeat it.
Cinderella has finally arrived at the ball. Barbara, this is TJ. How are you?
Good. I hope you have a slipper for me to jam my chubby foot into.
Actually, I got my pair of Happy Feet here. They just arrived yesterday, so you can borrow one if you want.
Oh, no. Those stupid things, my God. You need your head examined.
Now, we've only got Lori for a few more minutes. I think she wants to go drink heavily or something, so we got... but,
you know what? Let me give you the inside scoop on Lori. She's always drinking. If she's not drinking cocktail after cocktail from morning till night.
Lori, this is true.
You know, that would be the life, wouldn't it? If all I could do
wouldn't that be great?
cocktails. Yeah. But Barb, I shared with them, I am out to dinner with some people, and I, of course, stepped aside to do the podcast. So they've talked with me for a little bit, and then you can definitely take over.
I'll clean up the back end. What do you?
Yeah, you can clean up the back end, and it's been a pleasure.
About back end.
Yeah, that's going to be the topic of the show for the closing.
Lori. Now you can really have a drink. It's okay.
Right.
So while I have both of you on, I've got some questions that relate to both of you, so I'm glad you can be here. Because doing the podcast, one of the first things I get asked, people assume I have some inside track as if I hang out at your houses, which obviously it would be great. But people always want to say, Lori and Barbara are always taking barbs at each other. They're always kind of jarring and having fun, but sometimes they work together. Are they best friends or are they nemesis? What's really going on? Give us the full scoop.
Because Lori's been talking, I'll answer first. We're definitely not best friends, but we're friends in business, which frankly is a better thing to be because there's no emotion in it. You get things done. You don't have to go home and sleep with each other or spend vacations together. It's like a perfect relationship.
I was going to say, from my end, I think that Barb and I have a nice relationship. We get along. We're comrades.
If you want what I want, then forget about it. Go ahead.
And look, Barbara has accomplished a great deal in her life, and there's a lot to respect there. And I enjoy our relationship. That's what I can say.
Well,
nice.
She is so sweet. Now I'll give you the real scoop. I enjoy our relationship until I want to get something that she wants to get. Let me tell you, we're both the same, and that way we go for it.
Well, so
yeah, but
just like the guys, I might say, just like the guys.
It's not what I think is so honorable and great about Barb and I is that it is not a cat fight. We're not petty. We're not anything that's stereotyped. I think that we rise above. Don't you think, Barb?
I think so. I think sometimes for good TV, like I know, Lori, I don't know if you concur with this, that one episode, now I can't even remember, it certainly wasn't Hold Your Haunches where we were holding hands, but another episode where we were both after the same thing. I was shocked when I saw it on Shark Tank when they were teasing the next episode. They were like positioning us both as though we were about to be in a cat fight. I was like, I don't even remember that. But the power's in the hand of the editor. And I think Lori was a little alarmed about that just as I was. Like, wait, there's a reason there? But it's all how you mix it and edit it on TV. It's really where the power is.
That might have been the shootout at the OK Corral, as Robert called it, right?
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So I actually have an interesting question for both of you, and it's partly because, Lori, Kevin and Barbara have this magical chemistry on screen. If probably people have noticed it.
You gotta be kidding. I can't stand it. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Lori's never kissed him with her eyes closed. I'm just saying. On stage. So
well, good for her. She's lucky.
I've got a couple clips here. Since we're doing like the feminism girl power episode, I pulled a couple from the archives, Barbara, and I feel like Lori's kind of escaped Kevin's wrath. I want to play these real quick and try to figure out why it's always you. Here we go.
Barbara, if you screw this up for me, I'm going to spank you like a baby seal.
That's one.
The old baby seal thing,
You must weigh 5 pounds, these pants.
Barbara, you wear those, you'll have a blood clot.
That's two.
He's funny.
Really annoyed that she's looking so good.
Kevin.
You don't have to
Sorry,
turn
Barbara.
Barbara off. Just throw a bucket of water on her.
Don't
She'll
turn
melt.
Lori off. She's the only one left.
I could go on for an hour, easy. So how come Lori escapes the wrath
Really?
of Uncle Wonderful and Barbara gets it directed?
Because they're sleeping
squarely?
together. Why do you think they're both married people? They're both sleeping with each other. But they're not going to say anything bad out of school. I refuse to sleep with him. I'm married. He's married. I just say, Kevin, here's the score. We're both married. Don't even go there. All right? And that's why he's constantly after me.
And to think, Lori, I accused you of drinking.
That's exactly what it is.
I apologize,
Nothing left to say.
Lori. I apologize for accusing you of the one being drunk. Sorry about that. Apparently I was wrong.
That's okay.
We don't care. See, TJ, you're figuring out why we're such a dream team. Yeah.
Tell you what, I feel like the luckiest kid at the prom right now, or the guy from Sister Wives. I haven't figured it out yet, but this is good stuff. Now, because you're both here together, I want to play a little game that has never been able to be played before to take us behind the scenes. I know you can't ruin the magic. I know Burnett can apply the $5 million gag order to both of you if you spoil it. So let's just do a little association, total honesty here. And you can either one can answer or you can both answer. I just have some questions about life on set. So here we go. Who is most likely of the Shark Tank crew, all 5 of you, to get up in the middle of a shoot to go to the bathroom?
Well, I should be because I'm the oldest. But
I was going to say,
but I just don't drink water all day. Yeah.
All right.
What did you say?
no, none of
Who's
us
always
get
going? No, it's Kevin.
Can't
Isn't
go
he always
to the
walking off to
bed.
go to the John?
Yeah, we can't get up and go. You can't go until it's over.
Who is the most
yeah.
likely to
Called
show up
stage
late
presence.
for filming?
Oh, Mark Cuban every time. He's a princess.
Well, she's right about that. Mark does show up last.
Who is the
Because
most
he's a
likely?
princess. Definitely.
Who's the most likely to get caught staring in the mirror on set?
Well, great question. I would think it would be me because once I start talking technology and Mark goes off for like 55 minutes with his technology term, I am definitely like holding my chin off the table to make sure I don't go to sleep. But I don't know. We don't see it from the producer's side. Maybe we're all sleeping. Who knows?
Who is most likely to take a phone call during an important staff meeting?
Well, we don't have privy to that, do we, Lori? We don't see.
We don't have staff meetings.
Well, you guys have your production
We don't
meetings,
have
right? I
staff
saw it on
meetings.
Instagram.
That's an NA.
Oh, good for you.
No, not
Lucky.
really. No, I have to say that everyone respects the privilege of being together and hearing from the producer what they want or don't want to see more of.
Yeah.
Or, the collaboration. I think there's a mutual respect. I don't remember anybody pulling out a cell phone and taking a call. Do you, Lori?
No. I mean, honestly, we're on set and we see so many entrepreneurs a day and it's fast paced and they're on a schedule. So, really nobody disrespects what the rules are. You do what you're supposed to do.
But even on a staff meeting where we're collaborating, no one takes a call, I have to say.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
That might ruin my next question. It was, which one of the Sharks is likely to be most honest with Robert about his wardrobe selection?
Oh my God. Come on. Well, first of all, never mind. I won't even answer this one. Well, we all know that Robert is trying to come out of the closet, but he just doesn't the courage.
What did she say? What did you say?
Oh, my God.
What did you say?
I said, we all know Robert's the one trying to come out of the closet but can't build the courage.
No.
Yes, indeed. So how he expresses himself is he just ups his game a little bit more on how he looks on set. And he comes to Shark Tank with at least 500 choices of shirts to wear. Should I wear the light blue, the dark blue, the medium blue, the pastel blue, the blue with the line, the blue with the check, the blue with the... Just pick one, Robert. You're worse than the girls.
Honestly, I'm in my trailer. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I'm glad you said that because the next question is, who is the most likely to hog all the time in the makeup chair? Who goes over?
I would say that would have to be you, Lori. I'm sorry, Lori takes it easily. If you know what? Hair and makeup, Lori wins by far.
Well, I have the most hair. That's the
Yes,
thing.
I know, but still. You could cut it like me. You could make it easier on the girls.
It's a kumbaya moment.
I know, and it looks perfect, so it's worth all the time. But believe me, it takes a long time.
Lori's been awful quiet back there.
Exciting.
So what are you going to ask our ladies here, our ladies of the tank,
Well,
Jenny and Erin?
I have them for a while, so I was just going to get all your feedback spent. But actually, I have some very interesting questions regarding the negotiation between the four of you. And so I've got some clips here about like the sexist, boys against girls, and that was all fun. But what I thought was interesting, let's take one from the negotiation. It was clear, Lori, that you were motivated to get a deal done. It was clear that Barbara was in from the beginning based on the editing. What I thought was really interesting is this clip right here. Let me get your reaction to this.
I would like to make an offer with Barb just so that down the road we can show our male sharks how they missed out on something that could be one of the biggest sellers of this season. I know I will get this on QVC, and I know the women, our customers, would appreciate it like crazy. And I also think that Barb and I together will get it into retailers across the country. So, Barb, what do you think of this?
Well, why don't we talk behind their back? Because the truth is, I'd like to get a good deal.
Okay.
Do you mind stepping out for a minute, ladies?
Go ahead.
Now, I felt like Lori was just like doing all the right negotiation tactics, getting all the good bait out there. And then Barbara comes in and says, I want a good deal. Go out there so we can talk. Now, ladies, and this is Hold Your Haunches, ladies. At this point, don't you know that you can make them work for it a little bit? Did you come back and really make them suffer and get the best deal that you could? Because that's what the number...
No. I think we answered faster than anybody's ever answered before. We were so stunned and excited and thrilled that we had the two of them on our team. We were not going to let them have a chance to think about it once they made up an offer. We were taking it. We weren't going to give them a reason to get mad at us. And
Hey, Erin and Jenny, I don't remember. Did you leave the set that night? I can't recall.
We went in the hallway. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Yeah. You went out, which is risky. Good for you.
Well, you did that. Y'all made it.
Honestly, Erin and Jenny are smart as can be. They are extremely intelligent ladies who know just what to do. I think Barbara and I both have been extremely impressed by them, their tenacity, their drive, and they're smart. And, as they just said, they were like not going to lose that opportunity, and they grabbed it, and they were smart to do so.
But we didn't ask to go out in the hall. They sent us out in the hall.
Yeah, I think Barbara shooed you away, right?
We're used to that. We're used to it. We've been sitting in the hall our whole lives.
Well, she was honest. She did you a favor. Now, the men did go out on your product. When I talk to people, sharks, they're always nervous about the way their product will be perceived on television. They're freaked out about that. In fact, Lori, your FiberFix guys told me they had second thoughts about even walking out there after getting all the way to LA because they were so nervous about that. So I'm curious.
Yeah, it's a very scary moment.
When you're in there and the guy sharks kind of go out because they don't see the value, or maybe it's because they don't want to deal with the women's products. They can't push the tush or whatever Mark said. Do you really take offense to that? Isn't that just an opportunity for you to take that and make it the best product that's been on Shark Tank? Talk about your thoughts when that happens.
We expected that. We've known all along that men just don't get shapewear. So we expected it, and we knew we were going to gun for Lori or Barbara, and we're just thrilled that they were both sitting there. When we walked out there, we had no idea. We'd heard so many different things about who would be there and who wouldn't. So imagine being us with a totally women-centric product, walking out and having Lori and Barbara sitting there. Now, could you ask for a more exciting thing to have happen to?
For Barb and I think that for Barbara and I, if the guys can't have the vision to know what's a great product, whether it's female-centric or male-centric, or both, that's just a benefit to us.
Right.
We can get in on a fantastic product just because they don't relate to it or they don't see that it's going to be a huge hero.
Yeah, and they also don't have, as we do, we shop. We're pretty much the people that make the lives for our families. But these guys, they've got trophy wives and servants here. They don't know what's even in the store. Yeah, they haven't been in the store for years.
Yeah. And then Kevin talking about false advertising, we were like, what do you think a woman is?
You know what? let's talk about that a little bit.
Hilarious.
Let's talk about that. Here, let's take a look.
Why is it every time there's a female product on this show, you guys go out right away? We've invested in many male products. We give it a chance. You say,
one male
I don't
product.
know what
Name one male.
Go ahead.
That's not a male product.
No, that's crap.
You're not saying women need shapers. You're saying, oh, you know
I don't
what?
know anything.
I don't want
I'm
to touch
out.
that
That's
with
what
a
men do.
10-foot
I
pole.
don't know anything. I'm out.
No, I didn't
Right.
say that. I know a lot about this.
Okay.
And I'm extremely concerned because I think
Oh, my
this
gosh.
is fraudulent behavior. I'm all about compliance and transparency, and we don't have any of that.
Wait. For all the world to hear.
Save us.
If you met a woman who you thought was dynamite and later she took those off, are you telling me you wouldn't like her?
You know what I'd do? I'd litigate. I can't be a part of this fraud and false advertising.
God.
I'm out.
This whole episode was just laugh after laugh.
Kevin is hilarious. No matter what, he is hilarious. And PJ, I'll tell you, as funny as he can be. But at the end of the day, I mean, how serious was that? That if somebody was a fantastic human being and he really enjoyed them and they go home and it's shapewear that had their figure, that he would think it's false advertising? I mean, that's
He would never know.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so shallow. It's even
And here's the fact about Kevin. If he got lucky enough to get a date and get home with them, they would be so not attractive that he'd have his eyes closed. He wouldn't know what he had on him.
Well, that's pretty offensive considering we know now that it's Lori that he's trying to hook up with, Barbara. I think you should apologize to her.
Definitely. He gets her. He's just using a roundabout method.
Does he switch on and off, or does he just go like the Energizer Bunny? I would think he'd need to recharge a couple hours at a time and build it back up. The Kevin routine.
No, he's always on. Kevin is great.
I was going to say, I agree with Barb. I mean, Kevin is Kevin. Kevin is always the way he is. The greatest thing about Kevin is he's real. He's true to himself.
Yeah,
I think that's true with all the sharks. Everybody is who they are.
I agree.
Yeah,
Everybody
you can
should have
pretend for a
someone like
while,
Kevin
but
in
after
their
a
life.
while, if you're sitting on that set, you're going to be yourself sooner or later,
And so take us, for everyone listening, what they're really curious about is, okay, the deal is made, the afterglow starts to wear off, now we got to get down to work. So Barbara, Lori, take us through the routine. When Erin and Jenny get off there, you call them and you say, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to blow this product up. Walk us through that process.
Well, that doesn't happen right away. What happens, which is a very important step, in between the set and actually writing checks, is you run through due diligence process. And I think each of the sharks has their own methodology for doing that. What we do at our end is we have a book we call 20 questions. Each question, of course, has 9 parts. So we're afraid to label it 5,000 questions. But anyway, the entrepreneur fills out all the questions, gives a financial statement, and then, honest to God, the real purpose that all the sharks have is trying to figure out after the fact what's wrong with the deal. What's wrong with this deal, and how likely am I to get my money back or lose my shirt? And that's really the objective to all of the due diligence, no matter how people approach it. And the reason for that is in a typical investment scenario, usually you have all that information first, and then you hear the pitch and you commit. But because of the TV aspect of Shark Tank, you're in the position of hearing the pitch and doing the whole process in reverse and do the due diligence. And then that's usually when you find out how you have to structure a deal to make it make any sense or even get out of the deal. I know for myself, I close on roughly 60% of most deals I commit to on air. But for the 40% that I don't even close on, it's usually because there are really things that are wrong with the deal, not for the entrepreneur, of course, but from the investor's perspective. And so the due diligence process is really a major piece that a lot of folks at home don't even realize actually happens.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I agree. I have to share, I'm so sorry, I have to jump off. It's 8:30. And I apologize, but I have to go. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask of me before I go?
I've got a lot of things, but Laura, I just want to thank you for coming on, and we appreciate your time. We're really looking forward to seeing you on the upcoming season. So thanks for joining us.
Lori, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And, I just want to end in a parting thing to say that Hold Your Haunches is an amazing product. It helps a lot of women feel a lot better about themselves and their bodies and look good and feel good when they go out. And these two women and Barbara, all impressive, amazing women, and I think that the product is really going to go far. So I appreciate you having all of us today on the podcast, and I will talk to everybody soon.
It's been an honor, Lori. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Lori. Enjoy your meal.
Bye.
Don't drink too much, like usual.
I won't. Barbara's thinking me an alcoholic. I'm not. All right. Bye.
You know I'm kidding about that, right?
Yeah, but alcoholics do like to
I've never
blame
seen a drink in a lady's hand, ever.
Oh, okay. I'll say alcoholics do like to blame other people for their alcoholism. So,
definitely. I'm one of those. No doubt about it. Yeah, you got me right.
We're having a glass of wine right now.
I bet you are. I bet you are. Now, ladies, I was actually going to have you brag about Barbara and Lori for a little bit. Lori's gone, but as a person on the show, they see Shark Tank, they're an entrepreneur, especially if they're a mom or a woman, and they've got all the other struggles in life that us men can't really relate to. The stresses, the fears, the schedule juggling, the kids. For me as a guy, I think it must be impossible. That's why I had to marry such an amazing woman.
And you want to hear something so funny as you cite those examples? As you were talking, I'm walking my 8-year-old in who's whining and saying, I got to go to bed. I'm not over the time difference. We just came home from a trip. And she's like, please put me to bed. I'm putting her pajamas on as you're talking and trying to make her half happy while I can make you guys happy. Exactly. It is so true. A guy would never have to have that. My husband's watching TV in the den.
Men can't multitask like women.
Well, and
women take it on.
I can do it, but we don't have the mental attachment to the activity. Like, I don't stress about it. I can just kind of like blaze through it with this blank man like curse that I have.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a little reality check there. The reason you could breeze through it and not mental stress is because your wife's stressing out on it.
Totally. Yeah.
Exactly.
You nailed it. She's going to come in and clean up my mess.
You're just the number 2 guy. You're not the number 1 guy in the house. Exactly.
I feel like you've been peeping through the windows.
So all the houses are the same from what I see.
Erin and Jenny, those ladies, and I get emails from them. I know that you, Barbara, you get bombarded by them, but they have these hopes and dreams, and they want so badly to be able to figure it all out. So when they're in a position like you two are, where you actually get the deal with Barbara and Lori, they just want to know, look, if that's not going to be me, or if my shark is somewhere down the road that I build a relationship with in the future, what are they going to bring to me? What am I going to be able to leapfrog as far as obstacles and barriers to my own success? So talk a little bit about what Barbara and Lori have done for your business.
Well,
that you could not do yourself.
But let me ask the girls. Let me ask the girls to answer honestly, because the truth of the matter is, there's very little we do for the businesses on any of these. Even though you're not asking me to put my nose in here, but it almost puts them in a position where they have to kiss our butt and flatter us. But I have to say, in all the businesses, and to date there have been 27 businesses I've invested in all of the businesses that have done very, very well, it has had very little to do with me, and I would just guess that it has very little to do with any of the sharks that get involved. Because, I have found 2 things. The major card is exposure on ABC in primetime television. That's the big help there. Number 1, bang, right out of the gate. And then the number 2 thing that is enormously helpful is all of my good entrepreneurs ask my advice and then they ignore me. And I think that was a bad sign. Now I realize it's a great sign because they're just the way I was. It's like, yeah, let me have your advice. Let me see what I could do. And then I did exactly as I pleased, follow my own gut instinct. And that is exactly how Erin and Jenny should be if they're entrepreneurs. So the sharks are overrated as to what they do, honestly. It's a TV piece that's phenomenal, the exposure, and then the idea that you have a sounding board that you can choose to ignore if you're really smart.
Well, they've been great when we email questions or email, what Mike and Barbara answer right back. And Mike, by the way, we love him. And Lori.
Oh, what's not to love? You got to find him a wife. He has no girlfriend. He's such a hunk and such a charmer and such a smart guy and a lovely guy.
How old is he?
He's, let's see, Mike's only 25, but what a hunk.
Oh, that's a perfect age.
Wait, time out. Question from the straight married guy. Who is Mike?
Okay. Back to you. Go ahead. You're running the show. Go ahead.
No, I said question from the straight married guy. Who is this Mike?
Okay. So Mike is Barbara's right-hand man. And when,
am I right? Yeah.
When we made our deal and got carted off to our trailer to sit in shock and open a bottle of wine and talk to the psychiatrist, he came in and brought us Barbara's questions in a book and made himself immediately available to anything we wanted to know. And he honestly has been true to that. He is. He's a great guy. I mean, so kind and so nice. And that was obviously very comforting to us and has been wonderful. And so we tend to email with him and we text with Lori. And if we have questions, those teams come back and answer them. But as Barbara said, sometimes we pay attention, sometimes we don't. But it sure does feel good to have them there. It's a tremendous security blanket, and it's a validating situation.
Validating, good way of putting it. Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, they believed in us. They knew we could do it. And so Barbara is right. They do offer help. They'll answer anything, give you whatever you want to know. But what they essentially do is validate your business and you as entrepreneurs and give you that much more credibility. And that is where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah, well said. God, I didn't know we were that great. I'm going to have to give Mike a raise tomorrow, and I really don't want to.
You are. And Lord has to give Dan one. Yeah.
Then, if you give him a raise, he'll have women all over him.
We know we have to do the work. Women are all over him anyway, I can assure you.
Apparently.
I know you're probably shot to get out of our trailer alive.
Oh, man.
Pack him up in our suitcase and take him back to the hotel.
I spent a couple summers in the South, and this is taking me way back. Oh, man. Southern
Lord,
girls.
I hope they were good summers.
Hey, we should call Daisy up and get her in on this.
Daisy, she'll weigh in big time.
Oh, I know. I love her. So, Barbara, I want to talk.
What's that like?
Barbara, I want to talk a little bit about being an entrepreneur in the social environment with your newfound reality star TV status. I mean, when you were the queen of real estate, and even before that, when you were struggling in New York, with what's happened now, the world is so different. Like, I look on your Instagram feed, and you're getting peppered with people who want to get their product in front of you, want to meet you. They want you to get them to wherever they think you can take them. And that's happening to all of you. And it's happening to any guru who's out there on social media. And I look at that and go, that would never work. I mean, does it work? Or what's your preferred way of getting in front of new entrepreneurs that you can help make their product a success?
Well, honestly, I don't wish to, because I have only 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, and I have an enormous workload, as you can imagine. I also have a family, a husband, 2 kids, and my youngest is very young, 8, so she needs a lot of time, as she was just telling me she was demanding only 5 minutes ago, and now I've ignored her in her bedroom. But here's the thing. I shouldn't say you get, I can only speak to my own experience. We probably get in the office probably 500 requests a week for anything from a quick loan for $50,000 to please believe in me, this is the best thing that's going to change the whole universe. Really? Oh, and now the dog just peed in the bathroom. Stop.
Sounds like my house.
No, you didn't do it. I know. I'll just go tell Daddy to clean it up, really, right now.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be all over that. Okay. I can speak from experience.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, God.
That's
You
Kate,
know why
right?
the dog is peeing? Yeah, he's peeing in the bathroom because my husband didn't walk him. The only job he really has around the house in terms of the house. I'm going to kill him.
Barbara, I had on the list.
Right, so what were you...
I had on the list that some things I was going to bring up, but I wasn't sure if it would feel right. One of them was your husband. When you talk about your husband, I usually snicker and laugh and think, yeah, that's kind of like us. They must just have a regular, regular back and forth relationship.
Regular relationship? No, not true. We have a painful relationship. We've been married 28 years, and every day I say, dear God, give me patience. And he's praying probably to his God somewhere, asking for the same patience. No. Let me tell you, the hardest thing in life, from where I sit, is making a good marriage. We have a meaningful relationship, be together on your values, how you raise kids, how you live your life. It is hard. I am 100 times more naturally good at building a business than I am on building a marriage. I struggle constantly. And you want to know, it is a lot of work. A lot of work with no financial benefit, which is what's nice about business, You do well, you get rewarded with money.
Right, you see the reward.
You get you. But in a marriage, you got to really, in your own head, constantly say, this is worth it. And it ain't easy, let me tell you. So that's my comment on marriage. There you have it. I have a great guy, thank God, with a great value. He's the nicest guy in the world. But despite that, it's a struggle.
What were you going to say, Erin?
Isn't he an FBI? Didn't he used to be an FBI agent? We know that because we're professionals.
Yeah, he's an ex-FBI agent, an absolutely great, good guy. Went to Annapolis, he's a real, American great stand-up guy, in every way. Great father, and loyal as could be, or as so far as I know. I'd be dead in a second if he wasn't loyal. But still, despite all that, you got to work at it, man. Life is so much pressure and so many changes from so many directions, and keep a relationship going in a healthy way is really the ultimate challenge in life, I feel. That's from my own perspective, anyway.
Now, I want to spend a little more time on Hold Your Haunches, because when there's a product like this, you see so many products, and actually as a shark, from the fan's point of view, you kind of get labeled after a while. Mark's interested in certain types of businesses. If someone's got a food product, Barbara's going to want to try it, maybe throw some money at them. Kevin says if someone cries, you jump in. There are all those stereotypes, but what is it really?
Yeah.
I know what takes you out of a deal because I've got sound bites. If someone looks a certain way, or you have a grunt feeling, or the guy from Zero Shoes looks like your ex-husband, you're out immediately.
Oh God, you're a very attentive guy. Let me tell you. The only common ground that I'm ever looking for, and I'm looking for before someone even mutters their first word, when they're standing on the set. And girls, that when you get on that set, you don't get to pitch right away. The cameras are zooming in your face. You're just standing there waiting for them to say go, which is an intimidating, painful process for any entrepreneur. And you know what I'm doing? I'm making my decision right then and there. Well, at least I know when I'm out right away, because I see people crumble under the pressure. And if they can't handle that kind of pressure, what are they going to do when things really get tough? So I'm always judging the stamina of the entrepreneur, and then through the questioning, the only thing I'm focused on is how well are they taking the hit. Because the only people that ever make in life are the kind of people that know how to take a hit and get up fast before they spend too much time feeling sorry for themselves. So you don't have to be the smartest guy in the pack. You don't have to be the most brilliant in your field. You don't even have to have the best product. But what you got to be able to do is keep plugging. And so what I saw in these two ladies is two ladies that just kept coming back at you. So if they make a good boxer, chances are really good they're going to do well building a business.
And TJ, a funny thing was they told us before we walked out, they said, go, you have to stand there for a couple of minutes. You can look at the sharks, but don't smile, don't talk to each other. Don't meet their eyes. Well, we walked out there, and a voice came over the loudspeaker, and this is Jenny. I was the first one to start the pitch, and I didn't know what he said, so I smiled through Clint's teeth and said to Erin, did he just say go? And Barbara started laughing, and the guy came back over the thing and said, I said good luck. And, of course, we're smiling.
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, we started dying laughing before we ever even hit our pitch. So we were like, okay, whatever. We were already smiling and flirting with Barbara. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Southern girls, always pushing the limits. And actually, I always wondered, is that a test, Barbara? They go out and tell you all these things not to do? Is that a false positive of anyone who's dumb enough to just stand there and have a blank face and for 1 minute deserves to get run out of there? Don't you like to see some
I don't really
spunk?
I don't know, honestly, if it's a test, but I don't know if it's intended as a test by the production crew, but I know it winds up being a test from our perspective. Again, because you can see how good they are under pressure. I don't know if it's manipulated that way. Don't really know.
Now, I do want to... go ahead. Go ahead, Jenny.
I was going to say, we were so close to being sent home because it was the last filming day and it was 6 at night. We were just so thankful to even walk down that hallway. We didn't much care who was sitting there. Yeah, or what happened. We were like, good grief. We've 5 days out here, Shirley, to peace. We are not about to get on an airplane and go back to Atlanta. That is sure to be
God.
So anyway.
God.
But look, see? It all worked out.
And Barbara, I actually want to ask you about that. At the end of a long filming day, I've talked to a lot of people on the show. Do you ever feel like doing a weekend at Bernie's where they just like tie you to Mark and Kevin and walk you around, or you put like a doll of yourself in the chair?
No. For me, generally most people's reaction on a long filming day from the Sharks' perspective is they always want to go out and party. I don't have that kind of
So did we.
Like, nice guys, see you later. I'm exhausted. It's a long filming day. It takes great attention to pay attention. You're spending your money, potentially spending your money. You're trying to be good for the show. It's a lot of pressure. I don't have much left. I'm like a wet rag by the time I walk out of there.
And we could hear. They had us hidden off in some green room and told us not to come out. Of course, we peeked out in the hall. We're listening. We could hear them yelling at the people in front of us. We were like, oh, Lord. Yeah, this is pretty bad. The Sharks are in bad mood. Yeah, we heard all kinds of things we weren't supposed to hear. We heard
my.
Kevin wants his car pulled around. He's ready to go to the airport. We're sitting in the green room like, well, that is terrible news for us.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right, girls and boys, I'm going to give it another 2 minutes because I keep having my girl Katie here run into my bedroom as I'm talking to you and trying to pull me out.
No, that's great, Barbara. We're gonna let you go. The last thing I want to do is ask you, for the fans, for people who are excited about the next season, take us into the set. Just tell us one or two interesting things about what it's like actually being on set behind the scenes that fans, might not anticipate, might not know about.
Well, I think a couple of things that I think surprise people. One, we genuinely like each other, the Sharks. I'm sure our producer is constantly reminding us, you're not supposed to like each other. Be Sharks. Be Sharks. Stop teaming up. Stop liking each other. Stop collaborating. You're Sharks. You're Sharks. So the longer you go on that set, we're going to our 6th season, the harder it is to be hard. Because you really you're like married people in a way, and you don't have people get comfortable with each other after a while. That's kind of how we are. So it's very hard for us to keep that edge on. So far as what might surprise people that they won't know by watching the Sharks, they might not realize that Kevin O'Leary is a pushover. He's the biggest pushover on the whole set. When his wife walks onto the set, you can visibly see his knees shake. And I'm not just making that up. He is a pushover. He's also, even though he talks about left-brain decisions, all my cash, my armies go out, and all the rest of that, if he sees something that just catches his fancy, he's in. And it has nothing to do with business or left-brain analysis. He's just like, oh, like his stupid cupcakes in a jar. Whoa, I didn't say that. His cupcakes in a jar. When I heard that, I was like, Kevin, you'll never make money on that thing. But he's like, I really like the idea in a jar. I'm like, okay.
He's like, num. Don't care, Barbara.
Yeah. But what people might not know at home is probably the funniest guy in the set is Damon John. He has more snide comments that come out that are like perfect timing, like a stand-up comic. He is so funny, but they're all off color and they all get edited onto the floor. I mean, we should have an X version of Shark Tank where they let Damon's comments and my filthy mouth stay in place because it would be very popular. But with Damon, boom, the best jokes in the world I've heard on the set.
You know
but
what?
I never seen him on Shark Tank.
I know you got to go, but that was actually one thing at the top of my list. When are we going to see like the bell curve? American Idol, we watched the first 2 weeks and the last 2 because that's where the magic is, the best and the worst. When do we get to see the archives of the outtake, like the people who get eaten alive? Because that would be gold, wouldn't it?
It would be gold, but I don't think they do that. They just kind of have the X-rated stuff. I mean, you get to see everything. They don't save anything. It's just they clean it up a bit. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Especially late in the afternoon. Another thing that might be interesting is it's unusual that Erin and Jenny got the deal. I don't remember any other pitch that was pitched at the end of the day that got picked up by anybody.
Really?
If you're at the end of the day, it's like a death sentence. Those poor entrepreneurs, you have to be like God himself to get bought. Because we're all so worn out. We've been working 10, 12 hours already, and we've heard it all, seen it all, done it all. And it's like, please let me out of here. So they miraculously walked in, Erin and Jenny, and walked out, TJ, with the deal. I have never seen that happen on Shark Tank. The last pitch is in Deadsville.
It's been wonderful to have you on the show. I appreciate of your time, and I've learned a lot.
Great questions. They're original, and it shows how hard you work because you gave it advanced thought, which, TJ, I know it sounds like I'm blowing smoke up you-know-what, but I'm not. I'm telling you, most people don't give any of the questions any thought. They just get going, and they're all the same old questions, whereas you had really good ones.
Oh, thanks. Well, then
Barbara,
I
thank you so much.
guess I shouldn't ask why
Appreciate it.
Damon John's in the back of all your pictures on Instagram. Is he like sleeping on your couch? He in trouble at home?
Now, cut it while you're ahead, will you?
I know, I shouldn't have. Barbara,
These girls like you. Don't leave on a bad note.
It's been a real honor. Thank you so much for your time, and tell Kate we apologize, but it was well worth it.
Yes.
Okay, she's laying on my floor. She's had to sleep anyway. We're okay. Erin, Jenny, you take care, huh?
Thank you. We've got plenty of teenagers to send up there to be Kate's nanny, and they'll do it for free.
All right. I'd like that a lot for a night or two anyway. Okay. Bye-bye.
Love you, Barbara.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I find you so adorable. You're almost irresistible.
Oh, thanks,
I
Barbara.
think people are going to fall for you.
No, Barbara, you got to go, all right? Let's just cut it. We'll talk later. So,
Good one.
hey, how much fun was that?
That was so fun. Barbara's so funny.
Oh, she is
Both of
hilarious.
those women, are they not, so are you about to say, how lucky are you, girls?
Yeah, no, I'm like, everything I have saved up now is for you. I felt like I was almost mildly
But
neglectful.
I'm just saying now that you've listened to the two of them and see where we are, how lucky are we?
Seriously, it's incredible. I mean, all of it. It's a blast to be on the show. It's a blast to get a deal with someone like Barbara and Lori. I mean, you guys just must be living on cloud nine. Tell us about it. What's it like for you? Lay it all out there.
Well, it's been we call it a tsunami. We just had no idea what the Shark Tank effect would be, and Lori told us before we aired, because we were worrying about inventory and if we should place a massive order and all those kinds of questions. And she said, you only appeal to half the population, and of that half, you only are going to appeal to some of those. It's a high-end kind of luxury. It's expensive.
Right.
And, none of us really knew what would really happen. Well, in 36 hours, pretty much across the board, we were sold out of everything. And we were as prepared as we could afford to be and were advised to be.
We, aired on a Thursday night, and we were the last pitch. So let's just say it was at 8:45. By 7 o'clock Friday morning, we had already sold more monetarily than we had in the history of the business.
Holy smokes. Wow, good for you.
And orders were coming in. The website did not crash. The shopping cart had a few glitches. I think it was just because orders were really coming in, several per minute. And it was just going nuts. We had a viewing party, and we left it right after we aired to go man the computers. And then we started to breathe again. And then we realized it was 11 o'clock East Coast, which was 9 o'clock West Coast. We're like, oh, Lord, it's about to start again.
Yeah.
And it did.
Must be such a thrill to, and I talk to people who go on the show and say, not everyone has that great of a sales night. They don't blow it out. And it must be really disappointing when they don't. So I'm glad to hear that you guys really had a big tsunami roll in and it met your expectations. I love that.
Well, we will say it did meet our expectations. We didn't know what to expect. But Barbara gave us some interesting advice and said that she really very rarely sees it in the middle. She either sees the out of the park or people being disappointed. In other words, we were dealing with people fussing about why are we out of inventory. But also, there are lots of folks that she basically says she never sees a middle ground on that. So we're thankful we didn't overorder for that because it probably would have jinxed us.
Your product is interesting because when they were talking about this whole men versus women, my wife and I do that when we watch at home. And I go, yeah, what am I going to do with the pants? Like, I look great. Like, I couldn't be in better shape. And then she laughs at me and we laugh at each other. But I just think that reaction, there are men all over the country and all over the world who sell a lot of women's product. So I never really bought into it. Well, I'm more curious about the demand. Like, I go, honey, is this something that you would buy? Is this something all your friends would buy? And her response was, well, I'd like to try it out. And if it works, absolutely. I mean, what woman wouldn't? So I'm just kind of ignorant. Like, how many pairs did you sell? How many sales have you done since the show aired?
Well, let's see. We aired April 10th, and by June 12th, we had sold 4,400 pairs. We were out of stock, and then we put stuff back in stock.
April 12th, not June 12th.
No, June 12th, when things came back in stock.
Well, we did another order and got them back in stock.
We did another order, and so I guess we have sold a total of 7,000 pairs of pants, basically.
And they're like 100 and they're over $100, right? What are they? 100 and...
Yeah, we ran a special.
We did a 20% off Shark Tank sale. So usually they're $139, but with the sale of our $111. So.
Yeah, so it's good revenue. And now tell me what the listeners are most curious about when someone has a success story, when things are going really well. What have you learned? What's working? And when I asked Barbara about what the sharks bring, I understand the answer is usually we bring the ability to show them things they can't see, to not make mistakes, to direct them in a way that they won't have any big losers or, waste money down the drain. So you can tell me if that's true or not, but I really want to find out what's worked for you and what's helped you kind of explode the business, take it to the next level.
Well, that's hard to answer because we've still been just reeling from airing. I mean, that's what exploded the business. Obviously, our social media doubled and tripled, and the word is out. But we have to attribute it to the Shark Tank effect because our whole goal was to go on Shark Tank, get the exposure that we certainly couldn't afford, and to hopefully get the investors that we wanted, because once again, that's something money can't buy. But we don't have any idea, aside from that, what's Greiner, because all we're trying to do is pedal as fast as we can and keep up with demand.
One thing we didn't get to talk about when we started was kind of the inception of the business, how you got the idea, how you just said, we can do this, and how you hit the green light running. Take me back to the very beginning. We're all out of order here, but I just want to know when you decided, you got together and said, you know what? Let's do this. Yeah, why not? Let's do this. And tell me about that struggle a little bit, that journey, and what happened.
That goes back to that two-butt word. we have been great friends. Our husbands were college roommates and grew up together, and we have children all the same age. And so we've always been close friends. And then in 2010?
Yeah.
Back when we used to exercise, we were walking, and
that's where we worked all the time.
And it may have been not too long after our third child that was born. We were wearing girdle Spanx under our exercise pants. And we were like, the crease shows, the thigh bulges over, the waistband's uncomfortable. We were like, this is just not cutting it. There has got to be a legging or exercise pant out there that already has a shaper built in. So we went and so we're like, okay, let's quit walking. Okay. So we went and started Googling it, and there was just nothing to be found. Like Erin always says, if there had been something, we would have just bought it and not have been into that. But there wasn't, and we just started brainstorming and designing, and we're like, well, let's don't make an exercise pant. Let's make a pant that can do it all. It can go to carpool or cocktails. Just make a multitasking mom pant. Now, of course, we did it for vanity reasons, but we didn't. One of the benefits that came out of it, because it is actual compression, that's the inner liner, you get all the health benefits for compression. So we have lots of folks that have had surgeries or varicose veins, or there was a woman in there talking to us today that had a herniated disc. And people with medical issues wear them because of the support and the benefits they get from wearing the actual compression. So, besides just vein people, you can hit, like us, you can hit the pre- and post-pregnancy market, the surgical market, the varicose vein market, travel, because they don't wrinkle and you're supposed to wear compression when you fly, and they don't fade, they don't pick, there's no cotton. So we started out and still only have our black pant because we're kind of marketed as a fashion staple.
Right.
Which it is. Who doesn't wear black pants?
Goes with everything, right.
Right.
And,
basically, it's a no-brainer, and it wasn't out there, and it was so obvious to us that when we couldn't find it, we knew we weren't that unique, and so we just designed it.
Yeah, and as a guy, that was everything that struck me as odd. I turned to my wife and I'm like, well, there's stuff like this everywhere. I don't know. I was like the Mark and the Robert there. I'm going, this has got to exist. Is this new? And she's like, nothing. If it's as good as they say it is, no, I doubt it. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And that was surprising.
You have to buy either an undergarment to wear under your outer garment. There is nothing that's built in. And when we go to like trade shows in March, men will always stop and like give us the hairy eyeball and look because of the name, Hold Your Haunches. They're like, well, I got to see, what is that? And then all we say is, what you see is not what you're going to get.
As far as Kevin said on the show. Yeah.
And then there was, I know that once you get to a certain level, then you got to start to expand or open up new markets or find new ways to innovate. So address Mark's question real quick.
I'm just disgusted you don't make a version for men.
I'll play it again here.
I'm just disgusted you don't make a version for men.
We answered him, but he didn't hear it. We said, we did. We're going to. It's going to be Hold Your Haunches.
You'll be the first in line. That's hilarious. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's nowhere else on the internet where you're going to find Lori, Barbara, and one of the top Shark Tank entrepreneurs all in the same place. So I'm thrilled that we got to do this today. I had a blast. And you two were hilarious on TV. You were hilarious today. And that is like all I care about, to be honest. So thanks for making it a fun time.
Well, we appreciate you having us. This is a real treat. And we're excited.
And like we told you, you were a huge weapon in our arsenal of preparing for Shark Tank. We listen to you. I mean, for anybody that is looking into going on or is going on Shark Tank, you are like the main valuable tool. We listen to every podcast. I mean, we learn so much.
I didn't know that. No, we never talked about that. Ever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You were like our encyclopedias of.
Yeah, we wrote down all your questions. It was fascinating. It really was.
But for anybody getting ready to go on, you get so much insight that a normal, that you just would never be able to find out. So I really loved your interview with the Rapid Ramen guy. I ordered 2 of them after I heard your podcast. He was awesome.
Wasn't he great? You know what? His podcast hasn't been the most downloaded. It's kind of in the middle. That's one of the best ones I've ever done. I'm glad you said that. It's fantastic. Now, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Ask your question.
Oh, no. We're about to wrap up. I just want to see if there's anything else. I really want to know, since you did the deal with Barbara and Lori and you're doing so well, I think you're teed up for an update in season 6. Have you been contacted? What's the word?
Well, Barbara and Lori, they both told us that they're really going to push for an update. So
yeah, we're supposed to. They're giving us ideas for a pitch for an update. So listen, we got back in stock, I guess, a week and a half ago. And then we're inundated with over 2,000 orders in 4 days, and we're just pedaling as fast as we can. And we think that, we hope we'll have an update. We feel confident that we will because we certainly are testimonies to the Shark Tank effect.
Well, last thing I want to ask you before we go, what is the number one thing that you've learned, positive thing that you've learned coming out of this experience that you can share with the audience?
Wow.
It's the most important lesson you can take from this experience.
You cannot be over-prepared in any way, shape, or form. From pitching to airing, there's no way to be over-prepared. We prepared everything you possibly could have and still were stunned by certain, just happenstances.
And I would just say have fun with it. I mean, I just think you can, right before those doors open, you're like, oh, my God, am I going to faint and freak out? Or what am I about to do? Do I really want to do this? But I think we just sort of looked at each other and we're like, go for it. All right.
And it was fun. It really was.
They edited it to make it look like there was some tension in there with Kevin, but there really wasn't. It was when he was carrying on with us, we were giving it right back to him. It was light and laughter the whole way. And really the only time from all of our research, the only time the Sharks ever really tear somebody up is when they over-evaluate their company and come in and are very defensive and aggressive. I mean, we had a strategy going in that we were not going to give them any sort of bait to come after us.
And TJ, I have a good sound bite for you. This is Erin. And I wanted to say this when the ladies were talking, but all that fraud carrying on that Kevin did, we didn't want to get cussed out, but it took everything we had not to say, well, do you not think that $7,000 suit and $1,500 tie and stage makeup, they're not, that's a little fraudulent too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should have. Yeah. Why didn't you let that one roll out?
Because then we might have gotten cussed out, and that was one of our main goals, was not to get cussed on national television.
We told them bras and makeup. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and you asked who's ready to get in your pants. I thought you were on a roll.
Yeah.
You were on a bona fide roll.
Well, you can lift your boobs up. Why can't you lift your butt cheeks up? No kidding.
I'm all for it. Well, I'm excited about the future for you two. I'm really thrilled that the ladies, the Sharks, the Queen of Hearts and Diamonds, joined us for the show tonight, and we made history. So I'm honored that you came on, and I'm really appreciative that you utilized the show to maximize your success. And I can't wait to find out what the future holds for you too, because it's just success stories on the show just make me happy. I love it.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate it so much. And we will look forward to hearing the podcast. Thank you, TJ.
Barbara, you're driving me crazy.
I want to finish one paragraph. You're driving me crazy.